96 political assassinations. 96 political assassinations. And I'm the only person in America talking about it. 96 political, Jesus Christ. Mexico, you got to get your shit together. What the fuck, Obrador? Obrador? Hey, President Obrador, your goddamn country is being overran by a shit ton of violence from criminal organized crime, from the cartels. What the fuck, man? You need to legalize marijuana right off the top. Or you need to legalize all drugs. Legalize it. All the war on drugs has failed. Everywhere it's been implemented, and everywhere where the alternatives have been implemented, they've succeeded, no matter what the alternative is. Whether it's decriminalization, legalizing, whether, it doesn't matter. It works. The alternatives to the war on drugs succeed, and the war on, you got a dozen different models out there. 96 political assassinations. 96 political assassinations. Veracruz had the recorded highest number of murders of politicians or candidates, with 14 occurring up to April 30th. So Veracruz was the worst. 14 were murdered in Veracruz. Oaxaca ranked second with 10, followed by Guerrero with 8, and then Guanajuato with 6. So, make sure you are careful if you ever go to Oaxaca, Guerrero, Guanajuato, or Veracruz. The U.S. Woodrow Wilson invaded Veracruz 100 years ago. 96 political assassinations, and nothing, nada, here in the United States, nada, nobody's saying shit, nobody gives a goddamn fuck. The white supremacy is so fucking embedded, it's so fucking embedded that Mexico, the politics of Mexico, we don't give a shit, but as a collective, unless, it affects us. So, we'll keep ignoring all this insane fucking violence over the top. There was a bunch of Mormons that got massacred. But that happened in Mexico. So I think it's going to take a massacre in the United States on this soil for the American people to give a shit. So nobody says shit. Nobody bats an eye. 96 motherfuckers got fucking gunned down for a midterm election. I think the United States had one governor that was assassinated while he was in office. Like, that's it. Out of the entire history of those 50 states, all those governors, and only one governor. Nobody bats an eye, yet they'll act shocked when the cartel violence spills over the border. What? How did this happen? We didn't see this coming at all. So, the war on drugs. America has a schizophrenic view on the war on drugs. So why is there so much money? Why are the cartels succeeding? Why are the cartels beating the shit out of President Obrador? Why is Obrador, just snore over fucking not doing shit? In the war on drugs, because it's a hypocrite. Okay, so the U.S. has a schizophrenic position when it comes to the war on drugs when it comes to Mexico. So the U.S. government passes out USA to all these different governments. It's how we either, militarily dominate them or, give them some jewelries and, necklaces and shit. Do whatever it takes, right? Go ahead, put some money in the politicians of Mexico's hands. Go ahead. USA. So USA, we're giving money to Mexico. I'm not sure how much, but we give a shit ton to Israel and Egypt. But it looks like to me, almost every fucking country in the goddamn world gets a check from Uncle Sam. So Mexico is one of those countries that gets a check from Uncle Sam. It's schizophrenic because the only way that you can accept money from Uncle Sam is by adopting the war on drugs. If you don't adopt the war on drugs, well, you don't get no fucking money from the U.S. government. And then at the exact same time, who the greatest purchaser of illegal drugs from Mexico are? You know who they are? It's the fucking Americans. So the American government says, fuck your war on drugs, says, fuck your drugs, we have a war on drugs, and then the American people says war, we're on the side of the drugs. Give me some drugs. Here's some money. Can I have some more drugs? And they get hooked and addicted. And so the economics of it is terrible. Milton Friedman, you're not supposed to, by, keeping it out of the market, you've actually made it very fucking valuable. You've increased the profit incentive. So, yeah, one drug dealer might go down, but then another motherfucker will come up and take his place because he'll make a shit ton of money. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. So the war on drugs has got to fucking end. Mexico, you've got to end the war on drugs. Obrador. President Obrador of Mexico. You need to legalize every drug known to goddamn mankind. Every fucking drug. Any heroin, fucking crack, even devil's breath and crocodile. Who gives a shit, right? Legalize all drugs right now and sell small quantities in a red light district overseen by the police. The president will just have the president fucking drugs, the president's drugs. You don't have to legalize any and everything. Maybe not crocodile and devil's breath, but you can legalize a lot of the fucking drugs that people want, sell them in small quantities, and by doing that, you regulate, you get to say how much people get to have, and you put every fucking cartel out of business. Every single cartel that's dependent on the sale of drugs, you put them out of business. Every single one of them. President Obrador, you got to do this. When he says, he's going to take care of the violence, hugs, not guns, nobody believes him. Nobody believes President Obrador is going to do shit. And then one theory about the reasons for the 96 homicides, and this kind of sounds like bullshit, but maybe it's not. One theory is that it's just the left versus right polarization. Either you're in favor of Obrador or you're against Obrador. Either you're pro-president or you're anti-president. It's all about one fucking guy. Is that what I don't know. That sounds... But that could be it, maybe. Perhaps here in America there's a schism. The 2021 murders, 96 murders of 2021, this is actually the second highest, most violent election year of Mexico's history since 2000. And that's how they put it, this century. This is the second most violent election year this century. You know when the last most violent election year was in Mexico? 2018, 3 fucking years ago. So, this shit just happened, and it just happened again. What? There's no fucking signs of it stopping. So, 96 motherfuckers were brave enough, and I don't know, all their fucking stories, but I know that there was an Abel Murrieta. That Abel Murrieta was a fucking golden god. That motherfucker. He said, look at this. I'm running for office, motherfuckers, and all you criminal motherfuckers, you watch out. And then, passing out pamphlets on the side of the street, car drives by, pop, 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 kills him. This is the second most violent in Mexico's history. Huh? You had 96 motherfuckers that just got shot up and killed. 96 motherfuckers got killed. And that's only the second worst. When was the last worst of the last time we had an election? So this is just what your elections just come with, a shit ton of fucking violence. And there is one way you can get rid of democracy. You can have a shitty dictator who, cheats like Assad in Syria, or you could just have, fucking cartels, violent criminal fucking gangs going around murdering candidates. You didn't even if you don't like the motherfucker, but in an election, that just means you don't like their popularity, you don't like their ideas, their face, their little clique or what have you. My God, if you don't like it, then put up your own motherfucking guy and, run against him. Get more votes than the other fucking person. But this bullshit fucking violence, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. Obrador has to do something. Obrador, do a goddamn, I say, end the goddamn war on drugs, you stupid motherfuckers. You'll make money off the drugs, and you'll put every single cartel out of business if you do what I just said. Sell a little bit of crack, sell a little bit of heroin, right? Just get a little bit, sell it in small quantities, they'll keep coming to you. It's legal now, but it's legal the way you say it. Legalize marijuana off the top, right? That shouldn't even be a question. Maybe legalize marijuana and then outlaw alcohol. Legalize marijuana, outlaw alcohol. Smoking marijuana is better than alcohol. Anybody that's anybody knows this. So the theory about the 96 homicides, that it's all about President Obrador, it just feels like conservative versus liberal. I mean, there's a conservative versus liberal schism here, but neither side accept half measures, so they're just, you know, over the top and just digging their heels. There's something more. There has to be. Because it just sounds like bullshit. Throughout history, liberals want to change shit, conservatives want to keep everything the goddamn same. So conservatives and liberals have been fucking arguing and bickering like old married couples since the beginning of time. That's nothing. That's how it's always been. But I do suppose that if liberals and conservatives, you know, dig their heels in as deep as they can, say like around a major fucking issue, like, you know, the Confederates want to, you know, be in favor of slavery, and then, you know, the Americans want to be against racism and slavery, that's when a civil war breaks out. And the violence worked. The fucking violence worked, just like the Mississippi Plan. A lot of the candidates got killed, they got martyred, these martyrs of democracy. They had a relative that would take their place in the running, but only 5 of those candidates are going to win their seat out of the 14 that was documented. So 9 of 14 lost. 9 of 14, they got shot and killed. And now do you have an Abel, Murrieta? Check out who is, you know, the mayor of Sonora, wherever the fuck Sonora is. Is he tied to the goddamn, you know, killing of Abel Murrieta? He'd be the one that has the most to gain. 5 of the candidates won their seat. 9 of the 14 lost. So therefore, the criminal element, the cartels, the drug-dealing fucking mafia, you know, crime families, won. They won. The Mississippi Plan. The Mississippi Plan is the plan that the white supremacists had employed right after Reconstruction ended in 1877. So you had the Civil War. Black people got, you know, freedom and the right to vote, because how, you know, you're not a man if you don't have a right to vote. You got to, you know, protect their right to vote if you're going to protect their manhood. But the South is still a bunch of racist fucks. Okay, well, we'll send troops. So we occupied the South. The American government occupied all the rebellion nations, you know, from 65 to 77 for 11 years, for nearly a decade. But only a decade. Because if the troops weren't there to enforce civil rights, you think the white supremacists are going to fucking regulate themselves? No. As soon as the troops were pulled out of the South, the end of Reconstruction, 1877, Hayes, Rutherford B. Hayes versus Tilden, the election of Tilden v. Hayes of 76. The Mississippi Plan was enacted right after Reconstruction ended, and the idea of the Mississippi Plan was when you use violence against black people, they don't go vote. You use violence against black people, they don't go vote. Therefore, they don't get their people in power. White supremacists get to carry on with their fucking horse shit. That's the Mississippi Plan. Intimidation works. Violence at the polls work. And that's what we're seeing in Mexico, okay? There was, you know, like 2,000 to 3,000, you know, positions. But apparently, I don't know too much. Obrador, he, you know, lost power or whatever, but I'd like to think that the overall result of all those elections was a net positive for Mexico. You had 96, you know, assassinations, but if you had 3,000, you know, 2,000 good people that got in there, then perhaps the good can defeat the bad. Now I'm going to read a list of names of, I don't know, 15 people here. 96. So these are just, you know, 15 people that got killed in this recent Mexico election. I don't know why. I mean, white supremacy, it's got to be racism. Americans, well, I guess Americans don't give a shit about each other. There's no health care. There's homeless and people. There's poor people all over. Americans just, Like that Iceland woman in that Michael Moore film said that Iceland, she goes, Americans don't care about each other. They'll walk right past another American who's got health problems and not give a goddamn flying fuck. Actively speak out against health insurance. Anyways. Antonio Hernández Godínez. These are all people that got shot and killed. Antonio Hernández Godínez, Juan Antonio Acosta, Carla Enríquez, Merlín, Yuriel Armando González Laura, Melquiades Valquez Lucas, Alfredo Sevilla, Pedro Gutierrez, Ivane Gallegos, Alejandro Galicia, Francisco Geraldo Rocha Chavez, Abel Murrieta, May 14th. Just fucking happened. Just fucking happened. Abel Murrieta, MC, K. Jimmy, Cod Jimmy, Sonora, Arturo Flores Bautista, May 23rd, May 25th, Alma Rosa Barragan, Moro Leon, Guanajuato, May 28th, Cipriano Villanueva, Villanueva, Cipriano Villanueva, May 28th. So there you go, May 28th, right? You got Cipriano, Alma Rosa, Arturo Batista, Abel Murrieta, Francisco Chavez, Alejandro Galicia, Ivone Gallegos, Pedro Gutierrez, Alfredo Sevilla, Melquiades Vasquez Lucas, Yuriel Laura, Ignacio Cordero, Carla Merlín, Juan Acosta, Antonio Godínez. So this November 25th, 2020, Antonio Hernández Godínez, he's part of the Democratic Revolution. So PRD, he's part of the PRD party, and this is going to happen in Chilapa, Guerrero. The violence against candidates or candidates for a position of popular representation started with him. The mayor of Chilapa, he was running for the mayor of Chilapa, but instead of becoming mayor, he got a bullet to the fucking head. It said he was flirting with Morena. It was translated. I don't know if they meant actually flirting. Is there a person named Morena? Anyways, Antonio Hernández Godínez is going to get shot dead. So, who actually ended up becoming mayor? That would be my prime suspect would be the person that became mayor because they had the most to gain, right? They fucking won the election. They got power. Antonio Hernández Godínez did not get power. Why? Was it because of the motherfucker, right? You had, a lot of examples. Ronald Reagan, negotiated with Iran and the hostages and shit to make Jimmy Carter look bad. Gets into office, but he was, talking to our enemies behind closed doors. I mean, it's borderline fucking treasonous. What the fuck are you doing? So, January 12th, February 15th, Santa Cruz, Veracruz, Puerto, Nuevo Casas Grandes, Chihuahua, La Pearl, Veracruz, Jalisco, Chiapas, Oaxaca, and a lot of other, Sonora, Guanajuato, Chiapas. On Tuesday, another aspiring candidate gunned down during a campaign event. Alma Rosa Barragan. That's May 25th. Running for mayor in the city of Moroleón in the state of Guanajuato, one of the country's most violent regions. If you'd like to accompany me, come so you can listen to my proposals. Come so we can coexist for a moment together. We can do it better. A cheerful Barragan said during a Facebook Live she broadcast just moments before her death. The Guanajuato Attorney General's office condemned the assassination. An investigation is now underway. A candidate for mayor in Cajimi, Sonora, was murdered on Thursday. in yet another incident of violence, what is already known as the second most violent electoral season in Mexico this century. So this is Abel Murrieta. I think it's actually Francesco. But Abel Murrieta Gutierrez. This motherfucker's got 4 names. But Abel Murrieta, he's a former Sonora Attorney General, and he was a mayoral candidate for the Citizens Movement Party. He was a candidate for the Citizens Movement Party. Hey, citizens, let's stand up and stop this bullshit. And he got shot many times for that exact fucking reason. So somebody said that there's many angles, and they're all correct. Many motherfuckers were going to, come after him. It could be anybody, but it was one particular person. And then somebody made a point that, okay, there was the gunman, but who paid the gunman? Who ordered the hit? Maybe it was just the gunman, right? Maybe it was just Lee Harvey Oswald doing it by himself in the book depository. Maybe he had a friend or two. Maybe it was something else. But Abel Murrieta shot multiple times, 5 p.m., while he was campaigning on the streets of Ciudad Obregón, the Cajeme municipal seat. Citizens Movement Party President Clemente Castaneda Hoflick blamed organized crime for the attack, saying Murrieta was targeted for his campaign message, where he said he would confront narco crime in Cajeme. That's exactly right. He said, fuck the drugs, fuck the drug dealers, fuck the gangs. He ain't scared. What the fuck's up, motherfuckers? Cartel ain't shit. Suck my dick, cartels. I'm fucking Abel Murrieta. What the fuck you gonna do? And this take is right. Abel Murrieta paid the price for having said now and again, over and over and again in his campaign. He said it's time to get serious. That was his byline. That was his tagline. It's time to get serious about this fucking criminal shit. It's time to get fucking serious. He had the bravery to confront the narcos. He would deal with them once he became mayor. Castaneda said, it's clear that organized crime governs Sonora. Castaneda might be next. Organized crime does govern fucking Sonora. Who eventually became mayor of Sonora? Check that motherfucker out. If it's him, impeach that motherfucker. But Sonora's, Sonora's run by some organized crime family. All the police and the authorities and President Obrador, he's going to find out who killed Abel Murrieta. No, he's not. No, they're not. They're a part of it. They're a part of it. So how the fuck are they going to find out who did it? Right? It'll be cop-on-cop violence. That's the thin blue line. State, they love that monopoly of violence. So the state will protect itself even if there's a bunch of criminal elements. So Abel Murrieta gave up his life standing up to crime. That's absolutely right. Sonora's being run by an organized crime family, and Abel Murrieta stood up to that organized crime family, and that organized crime family killed Abel Murrieta. And so now the people of Sonora could go one direction or the other. They could say the crime family is fine and dandy, or they could say, you know what? I mean, if the crime family was so fucking fine and dandy, why couldn't they offer their own goddamn candidate and run against this guy? Instead, they're a bunch of cheaters, right? That's fucking cheating. You could have gotten more votes and the other motherfucker have a better pitch. You're such a good fucking force in the goddamn community. Oh, okay. Hey, Sonora's crime family. If you're such a good, powerful, good force in the goddamn community, how come you couldn't provide a candidate that would have got more votes than Abel Murrieta? Why were you so scared of Abel's ideas, his face? What, he put a goddamn TV ad on fucking TV and that scared the shit out of you? Fuck you. If anything, Sonora, the crime family of Sonora only fucking told on themselves. What, some motherfucker said they was going to go after crime. They didn't say they was going after you. They said they was going after crime. That's very vague and very general. That could be, who the fuck is going to be like, no, we want the crime here. Only a piece of shit criminal or the beneficiaries of criminals. The psychopaths, right? Lunatics. These are the only people that would say, you know what? Criminals are A-okay. No, they're not. Fuck a criminal motherfucker. Fuck a goddamn criminal motherfucker. So Abel Murrieta is a martyr for democracy. I hope they keep on speaking about Abel Murrieta. He gave up his life standing up for the people of Sonora, saying that he wanted a better life for his people, for his family, his friends. It is time to get serious in Sonora. It's time to get very serious. When they had his funeral, when they were taking his casket out, they gave him a standing ovation. They gave him a standing ovation. Motherfucker's dead in a casket. Now you motherfuckers appreciate him? I'm not a big fan of death. I'm very much a big fan of life. But this motherfucker gave everything he had. He gave his life for his cause. The cause of democracy, cleaning up the streets, fuck the criminality, fuck motherfuckers hurting other motherfuckers. 96 political assassinations. 96 political assassinations. And the total number of victims, that's how many was killed. There was over 400 victims, 443, and 35% of them were women. So this is, people are getting their kneecaps fucking broken and shit too. So they're not just getting killed, but they're getting attacked. And it's not just the men, but the women too. The number of victims is a 64% increase compared to the 2017-2018 electoral season. Oh shit, but it wasn't compared. The homicides, there was more homicides then, but the breaking of the kneecaps, there was more breaking of the kneecaps, less homicides. So maybe that's progress. Guillermo Valencia Reyes and another collaborator were wounded last Saturday after 3 gunmen opened fire on a vehicle in which they apparently believed the Institutional Revolutionary Party candidate was traveling. They had studied my movements, but fortunately I wasn't in that vehicle, he told the newspaper Reforma. We have to consider a lot of things. We can't campaign in the same way because my life is threatened. I was used to being among the people at events. There are a large number of people because of the social support we have. We have to reconsider the way we do our campaign, but we will continue. If I were to quit, that would please those who try to kill me. We can't allow fear to lead us to pleasing people who do us harm, who do evil. I hope the authorities do their job and arrest those responsible. The murder of Abel Murrieta should get Americans' attention. All these murders, 96, and then, there's an assassins. They riddled 58-year-old Murrieta. So, yeah, the murder of Abel Murrieta, all these murders. The fact that this is going by unnoticed, unmentioned. I had to click on the Chinese. The Chinese got a America station, right? Russia and all these countries, British, Al Jazeera, I don't know. But they always have an English or an America fucking version. And the Chinese have an American version. And that's how I found out about the goddamn murders that were happening in Mexico from a Chinese channel. Thank you, Chinese channel. Thank you, Russia Today. You're the only ones telling us the truth. The fucking, our media, they want to pretend that it's all hunky-dory. They would hate the idea that something they said led to some kind of, positive reform and change. They're supposed to be neutral and therefore, like Wolf Blitzer, I'm neutral and I have no soul and I'm just reading a bunch of words. No, motherfucker. So, Abel Murrieta is 58 years old, riddled with bullets, campaigning for mayor in Cajimi, a town in the border state of Sonora, Mexico. This is right by New Mexico. This is right by Arizona. So don't think that this violence, it's very likely that the violence could spill over if it's not already spilling over. In Colorado, I got I'm buffered by New Mexico and Arizona. But it's a lot closer. In Kentucky, I wasn't even worried about it at all. In Colorado, it's like, it's kind of closer to me now. So we gotta wait until, usually that's what happens, right? Instead of fixing the fucking shit, we wait for the whole thing to fucking break, and then we fix, that problem and that issue, but allow the institutional fucking bullshit to carry on. So I think that the bullshit's going to continue to happen. I don't see, President Obrador legalizing, all the drugs and having a red light district and selling a little tiny small quantities of the drugs so he could put out all the cartels, put them all out of business. Get the government in the business of selling drugs, get 10 different stations all across the goddamn state, and you can buy small quantities. If you're Mexican, you can buy small quantities. Do it like Portugal. Do it like Portugal. Do it like Colorado. Everywhere that the alternatives have been implemented has been successful. Oregon, Colorado, Portugal, Amsterdam, Netherlands, right? What else? I think North fucking Korea legalized marijuana, so if Mexico hasn't even legalized marijuana, that's a first.